Part 2, Total Soul Chatter.
Okay, Mom, here are some more questions that you've been asked. How has being abused affected you?
Being abused has affected me. It's kind of like the same question from yesterday, or part 1. It's affected me, my family, my parenting style, my life. Got some positives and negatives in there, but a whole lot of negatives.
Why didn't you report your abusers while going to counseling?
Didn't report my abuse while I was going to counseling because I still hadn't dealt with the problem yet. Still blamed it on my kids, my marriage, other stuff, and not trying to face the child sex abuse at all. The molestation, none of it. I actually, at one point a few years ago, my church that I attend had told me to talk to a licensed counselor that was a member of the church, and I did speak to her off the record at church, and but she informed me that if I did tell her the name of my abuser at that time, that she would have to report it because she was required to. And at that time, I thought about my grandmother and what my mother said, and I didn't want to be the cause of my grandmother dying or hurting from heartache or whatever.
What steps are you taking towards recovery?
Actually, one of the big steps I'm taking right now is actually praying and listening to get me through this. Another big aspect of recovery is what I'm doing right now, speaking out to the public and not, no holds barred about the truth. Getting out there and, my biggest part of recovery just might be me knowing that what I'm doing is helping somebody else to deal with theirs. So my recovery is big on praying and getting the word out and helping others.
How does it feel now that you have reported your abusers?
Feels good. I feel a big relief. March 10th was huge for me. I was nervous standing out there with the video that you laughed about me on, but I was real nervous until, once that police officer handed me that paper, though, and I started writing. It was something else, but the second page, when I started doing details, because they informed me to write as much as possible, I was actually, I was crying, but it was tears of relief because I know that regardless now, there was no turning back. I not only spoke up, about it to the public, I now actually took a stance and reported them. So that's a good thing.
How has your blog affected you and your family?
The blog has actually affected my family negatively and but more positives this time with this round. With y'all, with the kids, I'm realizing the love that I had and that I did. I actually did something right with y'all because of what happened to me. I was a bit overprotective and a bit kind of crazy with certain things with y'all, but it paid off. I believe. I feel the love from my sons, my oldest one, my next to the youngest one right here. All of them. My mother, on the other hand, is forcing her to deal with her own abuse that happened to her. But at the same time, she still pisses me off sometimes with how she goes about me coming out with mine. But I've learned just not to blame her. Sometimes we got to deal with our own stuff before we can fully focus on the next person. So that's good. And I know that, my grandparent style is changing because I do have that, my granddaughter, even though it happened to boys too, definitely. But I don't want my granddaughter to ever be afraid or think that it's taboo if ever something was to happen to her friends, anybody that she could, that she knows that the best thing to do is tell. She doesn't hear that, what people are going to do So definitely a lot of positive effects with the blog. Husband, very supportive.
Are you able to read or watch others people's stories without letting it negatively affect your growth?
Yes, definitely. I actually love Law and Order Special Victims Unit because of it. Just all the different aspects of it, how like a lot of things I take away from it is because I didn't end up dead in the process of, somebody trying to hide what they did to me. I actually didn't kill myself. I didn't go into cutting. I don't have, I didn't have my parents or relatives killing somebody else and trying to cover it up. And then right now, the only aspect of that is, I'm just glad that I think that I'm at a point in getting my family to a point to just breathe about it and let God deal with it, so that just in case, when we go to court, charges, actually brought up 2 and 3, that no one, if they walk away, that no one actually be like some of the endings in those when your family member come up and kill the predator for getting off. So definitely I can watch it because I've already lived it, so it really doesn't affect me like that.
What were the determining factors that pushed you to take the next step towards healing?
When the last 9 months when I had so many thoughts of suicide, when I actually thought about killing myself, that was a problem, big time. I already been hurt and I wanted to kill myself. I just thank God that I had friends and family that actually, that listened to me. And I actually thank God that He didn't let me keep that silent. That wasn't something that He let me keep silent. I spoke out about it. I let people know that I was feeling like dying, that I wanted to die, that I wanted to be dead. I wanted to kill myself, And fortunately that, at that time, I had somebody around me, due to their unfortunate circumstances, but they was around in my home with me. So I didn't want, anyone, I really didn't want any one of my kids to find me dead. But I wanted to die. But I'm glad I wasn't that selfish.
When you first found out you were pregnant with a daughter, how did it make you feel?
It's one of the hardest questions. Well, this is a question that I was hoping to avoid today until the end because I knew it was in this batch. When I first found out that I was pregnant with my second kid, from the day that I knew I was pregnant, I didn't want this baby. I knew that this one was a girl, and I didn't want no girl. I didn't think that I would be able to protect her. So I tried to go get an abortion, but by the time I got enough money, because I didn't tell my mother I was pregnant, it was too late. And then I just wanted to die. And when the whole pregnancy was screwed up, and when she came out, because I didn't know until she came out, it was a girl. I told myself I wouldn't know her. I didn't want her. My mother thought that she protected me, and she didn't. And I just didn't want her. I can't answer that no more.
How old do you think is too early to begin to talk about it?
When did I start talking to you about it? Do you know? Do you have any idea when I start talking to you about it? It depends on the child, I guess. I'll have, even with my 6 kids, all different. But I think as early as you think need be. As early as you start letting your child, you going back to work or you know, I don't know. My abuse started at 6. I know people that started even younger before they start talking. So if the abuser can abuse at any age, start, not like have to talk about it, make them aware of their private parts as early as possible that no one wants to touch, and to tell, but tell it with not with anger in your voice. Tell it, talk about it, just like you talk about it if you fall down and your leg bleed. Then I want you to tell me in case you get an infection. Same way, sick. Otherwise, they infect you.
Do you ever fully heal?
Oh no, ain't there yet. I'm sure I will. My Bible tells me that healing is possible. So I'm better off than I was yesterday.
What would you say would be some of the key signs to look for that suggest that a child is a victim of sexual abuse?
Pay close attention to them. They react. They do different things. Their faces change. With me, I was already potty trained at 9 months old. Already went to the bathroom. I started peeing back in the bed at 6. It's not a science. Listen to what type of music they like. Watch them in a room of people. Watch the different reactions. Don't over. I was a bit over impulsive with my kids, but just watch for every little thing. Changes.
What age do you think it is appropriate to leave a child with the opposite sex?
It's not even about the opposite sex. They happen to the same sex. I don't think it's about the age. I think it's about who do you leave a child with, basically. So with the age thing, I think that is it's not about the age. It's about who you leave your kids with. Trust is something else. It would take me all day to talk about that.
What are some things you think parents could do to help protect their children from sex abuse?
Talk to them early as they think possible. You don't want to hold your kids and be too much of a pain in the tail with them, but at the same time, you want to talk to them, let them know that it's okay. Don't go at them like we normally do, like, oh, if somebody touch you, I'm going to kill him. That puts them in a bind. Talk to them like I said, like you would do if they fall off their bike. Come tell me that you fell off the bike, I'm take care of you. Don't teach them about child sex abuse and molestation with anger, hate, and feelings of hurting people. That even if you think it, don't do it.
What, in your opinion, would help children feel more comfortable exposing sex abuse?
If they weren't victimized the second time, being the victim first by being molested and abused and sexually abused and raped and fondled and touched and done and all that, and then turn around and you do tell, you're being questioned and people looking at you. And the best thing I think is for you to tell when you're young, because there's less questions. When you get old, they use all the things that you've done now since you was old against you. So if you was out there being promiscuous, you a hoe, you this, that, or don't believe her, or all the things, other lies that you've been told over the years to cover up those lies that all come back to bite you in your tail. Tell when you're living. Tell when it happens.
What advice can you give to victims of abuse and their parents?
The victims, speak up as soon as you possibly can. The parents, listen, believe your kids. Believe them, seek justice.
Stay tuned for the next part of Total Soul Chatter, and while you're at it, visit TotalSoulChatter.com.